Hi, this is Jim Gibson. Thank you for watching my vlog today. I do appreciate it. And I got some stuff from the news that you might be interested in. And let's see, it comes from the New York Times. And the title of the article is Minister in Charge of Japan Cybersecurity Says He Has Never, Ever Used a Computer in His Entire Life. Oh, man. Is this real? But when he was asked questions, he says, I have been independently running my business since I was 25. He's 68. So since he's been 25, he's been independently running his business. And when computer use is necessary, when it's necessary, does he really run a business? I order my employees or my secretary to just go do it. And he's in charge of cybersecurity. He says, I've never typed on a computer. When the lawmakers asked him a simple question about USB drives, they said, if nuclear power plants, or are nuclear power plants permitted to use USB drives? In other words, are the employees permitted to bring in those little thumb drives and plug them in? He was confused. He didn't know what a USB drive was. And I thought, you could talk to the Iranians all about USB drives, because one of them had Stuxnet on it, and even though they didn't plug it in into their network, their technician plugged it in and then took his laptop down into the hole where they're doing all the nuclear discovery junk, and that's how they got Stuxnet. It cost them a lot of money. It's a brilliant idea. But anyway, when asked other questions about computers, he says, I don't know details very well. Gosh, it has to be that this guy is involved as a cybersecurity person because of political, maybe he knew someone, maybe he paid someone off. Maybe there's a lot of money in this stuff, being in charge of cybersecurity for a whole nation. I imagine there is some money involved in it. But, the biggest issue I see when it comes to cybersecurity, and I see this often, is I go into a company and I talk to them about different issues, things like that. They actually sometimes pull me in. And when I sit there and they say, okay, you got a problem here and you got a problem there, you got to work on this, you got to do this or this. And, this is all workable, but you got some issues. And I said, there's a good chance that you're already being hacked. And then usually, and even the IT guys sometimes who aren't cybersecurity savvy will turn around to me and say, oh, we're not being hacked. Who would want to hack us? I don't know. Everyone gets hacked. Not everyone gets hacked, but everyone is attacked by hackers. I was called into a local city who does water treatment, but they called me in to look at their layer 1 network, the cabling, stuff like that, and they may not be aware that I have cybersecurity background for many, many years. So I went through and I looked at all their network, and I was telling them how, what they needed to do, and how they needed the cable and stuff like that, and the things that needed to be done to, in a new building. But I also noticed, looking through the network, that there was probably a good chance that their SCADA system was attached to the normal network. It was not separated. It was not air-gapped from the internet. And so I brought that up. And SCADA, let's talk about SCADA. I don't deal a lot with SCADA, but it's out there. It's the software that controls plants. You got big plants that manufacture parts. It also controls electricity plants, also controls water treatment plants and things like that. So it's called SCADA, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. That's what it stands for. It's pretty important because, in reality, this is what a lot of foreign countries break into. So if there's ever a war with us, they have a back door into the SCADA system. They could shut down the electrical grid. They could shut off your water. In this case, I was concerned because I'm standing right next to a huge tank of chlorine. And chlorine, of course, can kill you. So I don't know enough about their system. I don't know enough about what's going on with their system. But I did ask that question. I said, your SCADA system doesn't appear to be air-gapped, and it really needs to be air-gapped. And the guy said, don't worry about it. No one would hack us. Water treatment plant, who would want to hack us? And I said, well, there would be a lot of people out there who want to hack you. You'd be a prime target for some foreign countries, too, because, if we ever go to war, there's going to be a problem. They're going to shut you down, man. Or some hacker, just some kid, get some sort of backdoor in the SCADA, and he's able to, or she's able to communicate and just wants to cause havoc. Easily done, you know. And he said, no, don't have any problems. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's been working like this for years. We've never been hacked. It's not an issue. And just as he said that, one of the employees working on the SCADA system came up to us and said, hey, I'm really glad you IT people are here, because I keep on getting these emails directed to me personally, and it's porn stuff. And I thought, there you go. That's probably an attempt to break into the system. If he clicks onto that, he's going to allow access into his system. And the guy said, oh, I never open up those things. And I'm thinking, then how did you know it was porn? But anyway, make a long story short, what I see a lot in our industry, in the IT industry, is people don't realize how sophisticated hackers are today and how they're able to break into systems that you may think are secure, and they are not. And I'll tell you what, in future videos, we're going to talk about some of those hackings and how people get into these systems and things like that. And this might be something that will be eye-opening to you, how easy it is to break into systems. I got to add this little thing at the end. Always remember a friend, not a friend, an associate that I knew. I was out at his company and everything else. We started talking about cybersecurity, and again he says, I'm not worried about it. And I said, why aren't you worried about it? And he's an IT guy. He should be worried about it. He says, I'm not worried about it because I just got a new firewall. And I said, wow, that's really good. Now, I asked him the next question. I said, are you sure that firewall is doing what you need it to do? Is it protecting you? And he says, yeah, it's protecting me. I know for sure. And I said, how do you know? He said, because the lights flash on it all the time. And I said, well, how about your employees? You know, do they have those thumb drives? Are they using thumb drives? How about your employees? Are they downloading information? Do you have a DLP, a law system? Do you have intrusion detection and protection? And he said, I'm not worried about it. No one want to hack us. Why? And he said, they're just not interested in this stuff. It's just finances. We just have a lot of financial investments and things like that. I don't know. You got to take this stuff serious, man. And you got to realize that if you're not studying the cybersecurity stuff on a regular basis, you're probably behind. There's a lot more involved. It's a big area. It's not just an IT thing. It's also policies, procedures, training, all sorts of things. But listen, this is just a vlog. This is not meant to educate you on different things. But I got to admit that the thing I hear the most in IT when I'm dealing with fellow IT guys who don't know cybersecurity is they always come off nonchalantly, it's not a big deal, they don't want to hack us. I'm not too concerned about it, I'm not worried about it. And they become very, very convinced that it's important once they get hacked. Boy, you never find anybody that's so interested in calling me and asking me questions and wanting to engage with me on issues right after they get hacked. Don't wait till then. Hey, listen, this is just a fun day. Some stuff in the news. I don't know how that guy ended up in head of cybersecurity, but you got to take this stuff seriously, man. You really do. If you're an IT guy and you don't know anything about cybersecurity, you got to start looking at getting some education. I'm not saying light education, just kind of understand it. You got to really get some decent education in this area, and it's going to make you more valuable if you're an IT person. You know, knowing IT and cybersecurity, man, you're going to be valuable in that situation. People are going to look for you. But you have to keep up with it. It's almost like reading the news. If you're out of it for too long, you really need to get back into it. The principles don't seem to change very fast, but some of the techniques and ways that people break into systems do change very quickly. This is Jim Gibson with CableSupply.com. Thank you for watching. And if you like this stuff, give me a thumbs up. Also, write some comments, please. I really appreciate it. And I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, so I'm at 43,000 as of the taping of this vlog. Please subscribe, and I plan to do a lot more in cybersecurity and in IT as we go forward. So thank you for watching, and you have a great day.